Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now, today we're in a game called Forza Horizon 5. Now, you may have heard of it, you may not have. I think almost everyone's heard of this game. At least everyone that's in the gaming community. But anyways, welcome back to another video, guys. We are in Forza Horizon 5, and this is going to be an informational video on how to tune, the beginner to intermediate guide on how to tune a car. Now, we're going to be optimizing these cars for street racing, so that means the best on-road stats that you can get. So we're not going to go off-road or rally or drift or anything, but I can do those kinds of videos if you want. Now, we're going to go in and we're going to go to the auto show, and we're going to go pick up a cheap car. Now, I can do more expensive cars in the future if you guys want. But let's see. Yeah, alright. Let's go with the Bugatti Divo. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to go with that. It's like 3 million. And I doubt most new players to the game don't have 3 million credits just to spare. You know what? Let's go take the Corvette. Because everyone gets this pretty much right away in the game. And it's okay. It's alright. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's not great. Let's go with the Corvette Coupe. Yeah, Corvette Stingray Coupe. Let's do that. I think this is the one that everyone gets at the start of the game. Yeah, I think so. It's already wide body, dang. Alright. So if I remember correctly from the start of the game, it's not very fast. So we're going to put it in launch control. You can do this in manual shifting. You hold the brake, shift to reverse, shift back to gear 1, and just hold throttle, and then you can release the brake. So this thing, I think, is a rear wheel. Okay, that's alright acceleration. As soon as we hit 200, we're just gonna full brake. Braking's alright. Braking's okay. It's lacking a lot of power, but the traction is pretty good. Well, we'll see. It's not fast enough to spin the wheels. Maybe this is actually probably wasn't the best car to choose for this because of how good on traction it already is. But that's fine. Once we put in a racing V12 or whatever, this thing's not going to stick to the ground on stock tires. So there's 3 ways to upgrade a car. You can go custom upgrade, which you can upgrade your hard out. You can customize, as it says, individual parts. You can change out anything you want. There's auto upgrade, which you can pick a performance class, like S1. There's usually S1, S2, and X. No, X doesn't come in here because that's only $9.99. But you can pay some credits between like 30, 50. It depends on the car. 1,000 credits. And then you can just have it auto upgraded. And the third way is to find tuning setups. The only issue with find tuning setups, like pre-built tunes, is that you can no longer change the parts on the car after you've installed the tuning setup. So if I went and installed this for however much it is, I'm not actually going to install that right now. It's probably like 70 grand or something. It's between probably like 70 and 100. Then if you wanted to go change a bumper or the tires or something, or swap out the wing, you could no longer do that because it locks the tuning of the car, the upgrading. Now, also in custom tuning, stuff like gearing, and anti-roll bars or something, or some things along here, you can no longer change. But the main thing I find is gearing ratio. Which allows you to either have a higher top speed or faster acceleration off the line, or just in general. But we're going to be doing a custom upgrade tutorial. So you're going to want to hop into custom upgrade, and I would say the first thing you want to do is you want to go over to conversion, and you want to select engine swap. Now, there's a ton of different engines here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different options other than stock. Oh, I can lower the power. Oh, just what we need. There's V8, V10, V12, racing V12, bigger V12, and a racing V8. Now, that gives the highest power. we're just going to put the most power in this thing. That already brings us to just over 800 power. 800 horsepower. I don't know what I'm talking here. Now, you're not going to want to go for the most greens here. You can if you want. But considering the price of these engines and just the performance, just pick the most power, I would say. And now, yes, it is a rear-wheel drive, I was correct, and you're going to want to put in all-wheel drive. Now, you might be like, Platinum, it goes from 7.8 to 5.4 on the speed. That's fine. Don't worry about that. We're going to fix that pretty quick. So we can have naturally aspirated, we can have a twin turbo, or a supercharger. Now, I would suggest supercharger, because if you look at the start of the graph here, by the 800 on turbos, it takes a second for the turbos to spool up and produce as much power. A supercharger already runs off of the engine. It's basically a turbo but better. So I would suggest doing that. It gives you same power. It just gives you more instantaneous power. Body kit, don't worry too much about the... Oh, yeah, no, wide body's much better. Yeah, just go with big engine, put in all-wheel drive for basically any race car you want all-wheel drive, and then put in a twin turbo or a supercharger if your car has that option. I don't know too many cars other than this one that have a supercharger available. But yeah, so you're now going to go into the engine section and just select everything... the most power, the most stats. Now, it doesn't really change much here. It just gives us more power. And we're looking for more power. It takes it down just a bit, but then we'll bring that all back up later. So just select race everything for the most power. Supercharger. Yeah, well, yeah, we're going to squeeze all the power out of this thing. It's not going to stick to the floor. Flywheel. We want race. So the stats are already pretty good on this car, and we've also already at like 80 grand for upgrades, but that's okay. So we're gonna go to brakes, sport brakes, and then race brakes. They give the most performance, so you're gonna select those. Oh, okay. Don't do rally or anything, because obviously it doesn't help anyone's case if we're doing a street car. Yep, you want anti-roll bars. Oh, I guess it comes in the wide body kit. I was like, I never installed these. You want chassis reinforcement, because it's just better. Gives you better stats, sort of. And then weight reduction. Go with the most possible weight reduction. 300 kilograms, that's pretty good. That's race weight reduction. Becomes 10 on the acceleration, and handling 7. Yeah, it brings stuff up a little bit. And then we're going to go to drivetrain. I'm going to go to transmission. Just select a transmission with the best stats. Now, you guys might be asking, oh, can you get a higher top speed from a 10-speed transmission because you have more gears, so therefore you can have a higher top speed. Now, it really just comes down to the gear ratios. So you can, yes, technically, if you edited the gear ratios all a lot, and spread them out a lot more so you have longer periods between shifting, then yes, you can have a higher top speed. But we're not necessarily going for top speed. We're going for street racing, which is basically as much power as you can get, and top speed. So you need acceleration and top speed, so I wouldn't mess around with the gear ratio tuning right away. So let's just go with a 7-speed, because they all have the same stats. Now, just select the parts with the most benefit. Now, I'm not going to go into differentials or differential tuning or tire pressure, camber, anything like that in this video. You guys, if you want, you can request a more advanced tuning guide in the comments down below. But honestly, you can run a car just fine without doing advanced tuning, like in gear ratios and all that kind of stuff. Now we're going to go from, we were at drivetrain, we're going to go into tires and rims. Tire compound stock is usually okay, but then there's semi-slicks, and then there's the Horizon ones, and then there is slick. So it takes handling from a 7.8 to an 8.4 and puts the braking all the way up to a 10. Now, there's also drift and rally and drag and snow tire. But for street racing, you're going to want slicks. Semi-slicks also work pretty well, but in this case, this is the best bet. Now, for tire width, you're probably going to want larger tires because it gives you more grip. You have more rubber on the roads, therefore you can... Those are already massive. Okay, you can stick to it better. Rim style, it doesn't really matter. Some of them will add weight, some of them will take them away, like that one. I'm just going to leave them stock for the purpose of this video. I don't mess around with rim size too much. It usually doesn't have that much of an effect on the car. It just looks funny sometimes. So now we're going to go into aero and appearance. Now, some cars, since this is already wide-bodied, it won't have the options. Oh my gosh, my dog can not bark. That would be great. Some cars will have a front and rear bumper customization. You can change the hood on some of them. And you can even add light bars to, like, SUVs and trucks and stuff. You can get into some crazy stuff. But since this is already wide-bodied, you don't need to worry about that. And for the wing, that's stock. It looks a little funny. It's not bad. This one's pretty good. I think we're probably going to stick with that, because it doesn't do anything. Yeah, we're just going to stick with the stock wing. So that's all the tuning you're really going to need to do. You just do the conversion and then the 5 sections. Make sure you do the conversion first, because if you do everything else, it's applying, like, the engine and the drivetrain. It's all applying that to the engine, the stock one. Now, wow, we've put in a lot of horsepower. And then if you go to upgrade it, it's pointless, because it'll just take it away, because you're adding a new engine into the car. So always start with conversion, because then you can build onto those parts, if you know what I mean. So now you're going to go into view basket, and 100 grand in upgrades is not bad. Okay, no need to bark. Thank you. The engine is half of it, pretty much. 500 to 1300 horsepower. We're taking away over 200 kilograms, and we're going to an S2 978. So that's pretty good. This is pretty much maxed. So that's basically it. You can do current or just... Oh, well, that doesn't do much. Yeah, don't do that. So that is basically all the tuning you're gonna need to do. So let's give this thing a little test. Oh, dude, that lag. Okay. Okay, let's launch this. Launch control. A little bit of wheel spin. Pretty much any car with a lot of power. Oh my gosh, this thing is quick now. Doesn't slide too much when you're braking. Like if you're coming into a corner with a lot of speed and have to brake and turn, it's pretty good on that aspect of things. Let's go over. Let's take this corner at like 300 kilometers an hour. I let off the gas just a little, but I don't think I needed to there. Let's run this thing at like 300 kilometers an hour. This thing sticks to the road really nicely. I would use this at a lower level of racing, definitely. This is a good bet for street races. I'm sure you can build cars with better cornering and more advanced tuning and stuff, but honestly, for a beginner to intermediate car building, car tuning guide, this is a solid option if you wanted to use this in races and stuff. It's got a pretty decent top speed. Yeah, you can also change the gear ratios if you guys want. Oh, wow, that really sticks. Did you see that? I started to slide and it brought itself back in. Not many cars do that. They don't usually catch themselves while braking and sliding and bring their rear end of the car back in. This is impressive for what we did to it. And you get the car for free, and we spent like 100 grand credits on this, so that's quite reasonable. Got a lot of power, good launch, pretty good cornering, and overall good car in general. So I think that's all we're going to be doing today. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Oh, I forgot to turn on the controller. Okay. Well, yeah, that's not very helpful anymore, but If you guys want a visual on how to engage launch control, follow along. Brake, reverse, gear 1, hold throttle, release brake, and you've got yourself launch control. And why not? 360 for the boys. Or 720 or something. Yeah, that works. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this fairly simple tuning guide. This will apply to most street cars. And like I said earlier, I can do a drift tuning guide, I can do an off-road, build a couple off-roaders, a couple rallies, I can do basically any kind that you guys want. You just gotta let me know what you'd like to see. But that's about it for the video, so hopefully you guys did enjoy. A like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. And leave a comment on what you want next, and it's free. You can get a chance to get featured in my next video, so why not? But that's about it. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.